My ex-husband confessed his love. I'm already in a relationship, and I don't know how to do the right thing. We married young, at 19 and 22, almost in a shotgun wedding. After 8 months, we experienced a stillbirth. He was there for me, caring, and it felt like we fell in love after we got married. Things were good. He wasn't controlling, believed in me, and motivated me to achieve more, to go to school, get a degree, become a nurse, and he even paid for a significant portion of it himself, even when he wasn't earning much. It took some time to figure out the bedroom situation, but once mastered, it was mastered. He never pressured me to have another child. He was perfect and grew into perfection, which made me love him even more. What we had felt so loving and good, I stumbled my way into an amazing life and husband from a casual FWB. It stayed that way for a long time. Then I turned 30, and things started to change. Little comments about our young age when we met, how we went straight into making the marriage work in school, apprenticeships, and how we never really got to be young. He started going out more with friends, having fun without me. It got worse when he brought up the topic of an open marriage, more freedom for exploration, and everything he couldn't do before me. I declined, and he said he wasn't sure he wanted to continue with what we had. It all crumbled from there. He decided he didn't want to be married anymore. To be clear, he divorced me. Emotionally, it was bad. I felt blindsided and horrible. I begged for him to stay, even offered the open marriage, which he declined. He said it wouldn't be real if I didn't want it. He was a good person through the whole thing. He gave me our house that I paid a fraction for because he wanted to make it up to me for wasting my youth. Youth became such a big talking point, man. He offered alimony, which I should have taken him up on, but I didn't because I felt bad. But the point is, he divorced me, blamed me for nothing, and was kind. I couldn't even hate him. We married at a young age, 19 and 22, almost in a shotgun wedding. After 8 months, we experienced a stillbirth. He was there for me, caring, and it felt like we fell in love after we got married. Things were good. He wasn't controlling, believed in me, and motivated me to achieve more, to go to school, get a degree, become a nurse, and he even paid for a significant portion of it himself, even when he wasn't earning much. It took some time to figure out the bedroom situation, but once mastered, it was mastered. He never pressured me to have another child. He was perfect and grew into perfection, which made me love him even more. What we had felt so loving and good, I stumbled my way into an amazing life and husband from a casual FWB. It stayed that way for a long time. Then I turned 30, and things started to change. Little comments about our young age when we met, how we went straight into making the marriage work in school, apprenticeships, and how we never really got to be young. He started going out more with friends, having fun without me. It got worse when he brought up the topic of an open marriage, more freedom for exploration, and everything he couldn't do before me. I declined, and he said he wasn't sure he wanted to continue with what we had. It all crumbled from there. He decided he didn't want to be married anymore. To be clear, he divorced me. Emotionally, it was bad. I felt blindsided and horrible. I begged for him to stay, even offered the open marriage, which he declined. He said it wouldn't be real if I didn't want it. He was a good person through the whole thing. He gave me our house that I paid a fraction for because he wanted to make it up to me for wasting my youth. Youth became such a big talking point, man. He offered alimony, which I should have taken him up on, but I didn't because I felt bad. But the point is, he divorced me, blamed me for nothing, and was kind. I couldn't even hate him. He wanted to stay friends. I didn't because I was still in love with him, so we landed on friendly. No blocking, follow each other on social media, no bad words to either side of the family, but we don't talk. Except the twice yearly Happy Thanksgiving/Merry Christmas texts. The divorce was final in January of 2019, and I thought that was that. I didn't date throughout 2019. In 2020, I couldn't for obvious reasons. Same for 2021. Just focusing on not freaking dying. But I did meet someone in 2022, and we've been dating for almost 2 years in February. It's nice. Easy. He's divorced too. Neither of us want to get married again, and it just works. We were even talking about moving in together eventually. And then X calls. From his mom's phone, no less. I had stayed close to her, not super, but like a phone call twice a month and sending actually gifts for the holidays. So I picked up with the usual, "Hi Judy, how are you?" And it was him. We hadn't talked in nearly 5 years, and then bam, there you go. Ex-husband suddenly is desperate to see me. He said that we really needed to talk and asked if he could come by. He could even bring his mom if I was uncomfortable with just him. And I said yes, but to bring his mom. Now at this point, full on I thought one of them was dying. Mostly thought it was him and that he wanted to make amends or something, because nothing else would explain the suddenness. He came over to the house with his mom as promised, but he looked fine. They both did, which made me so much more confused. But I let them in and waited for him to say something. It was the most awkward 45 seconds of my life, until his mom elbowed him and said, "I'm not doing this for another year. Tell her. I'll be in the other room." Which, am I crazy, or again, does that make it sound like he's dying? And she left for the kitchen and left us in the hall. He began speaking, and I don't know how else to describe it other than word vomiting. I'll try to articulate what he said clearly, but I want to emphasize that his words did not come out as smoothly as I'm about to write them. He expressed that being young and naive didn't matter when he wasn't with me. Initially, he thought he would be happy to have complete freedom to do whatever he wanted, and for a while, he was. He traveled, met new people, and dated, but it always felt wrong. He deeply regretted the divorce years ago, but didn't want to trouble me after he shattered everything for what seemed like nothing. He mentioned that his friends constantly discussed marriage and how it held them back, and regrettably, he listened to them despite the fact that I never tried to hinder him from doing what he wanted. He confessed that he still loved me and never truly stopped. He admitted that he had been talking about it with his family year after year. His mom disclosed what I had shared with her about the idea of moving in with my boyfriend, which triggered him immensely. That's how he ended up at my doorstep. It felt like I was in a movie, except there was no swelling music and no magical moment of reuniting with the love of my life where everything worked out perfectly. I just felt confused and angry. I told him that this was too much to drop on me out of nowhere and asked him to leave, but I promised I would call him. So here I am, still feeling confused and angry, trying to figure out how to tell my boyfriend about this. I won't keep him in the dark. What the heck? If you loved me so much, why did you leave? Why were you so insistent on being with other people? You know I'm seeing someone. You could have tried this during the years I was single. Why now? Why? I feel suspicious and strange, and I don't know if I believe him. But at the same time, I've never loved someone the way I loved him. Is it insane to think that what we had actually mattered to him? Am I delusional? Or is this just a midlife crisis filled with regrets? I don't know. I simply don't know. Update. The heightened drama has subsided. I believe it went as smoothly as it possibly could have, but I made sure to tell my boyfriend everything that transpired. He wasn't thrilled, but he didn't direct his anger towards me. Perhaps it helped that my ex's mother was present, and we weren't alone. We had a lengthy conversation. Spoiler alert, we are not breaking up over this. You know what? I love my boyfriend. Maybe our connection isn't as intense as what I shared with my ex-husband, but that took years to develop. It didn't happen overnight. It also helped that my boyfriend is divorced too, and when I asked what he would do if he were in my situation, he had a lot of insightful things to say. We both agreed that I should meet and talk to my ex about it. He mentioned that if he were in my shoes, he would want to end things face-to-face with his ex. So I texted my ex. Let me be clear, I didn't leave any room for ambiguity in the message. The direct text, which my boyfriend saw, read, "Hey, his name. Obviously, we need to talk about everything that happened the other day. But I want to be clear that we won't be getting back together no matter how the conversation goes. Knowing that, do you still want to see me?" He agreed. So we arranged a time and place in public. My boyfriend was aware of all this and was okay with it, but he wanted to accompany me. Not to be present at our meeting, but he drove me there and waited in the car. I understand this might sound strange or concerning, but it makes sense to me. He's handling this whole situation with such composure. I think he just wants to stay informed. So it's not a red flag to me. Anyway, I went and we met up at a park, with my boyfriend having a direct line of sight to the bench where we were sitting. And we talked. It was quite an emotional conversation as expected. I will always have love for him, but the chapter of that life closed years ago. He cried and apologized for crying, and it was painful for me to witness. I felt awful. I don't want to sound terrible or as if I don't take my current relationship seriously, but for a moment, I just wanted to kiss him and reassure him that everything would be all right. But I didn't because that would have been foolish. It's time to move on. However, the conversation was difficult, and I'm a bit concerned that he might be clinging on to some hope because it ended on an awkward note. The conversation with my ex took an unexpected turn when he asked if things would be different if I were single. It seemed like he was trying to make a point, but I didn't quite understand it. I told him honestly that yes, things would be different, and that my boyfriend was the main reason why I wasn't considering exploring a relationship with him. He then asked what could happen if my boyfriend and I ever broke up, but I didn't think it was a healthy road to go down. However, it seemed to make him hopeful, which worried me a bit. I'm not sure if he misunderstood or if I misread the situation, but given the circumstances of why we aren't together, I don't think I need to worry about him pining away from me. Before leaving, I gave him a hug and that was the end of it. It's still over between us. Of course, I shared everything with my boyfriend, even the weirdness at the end, which he wasn't thrilled about. However, he agreed to let me keep my ex unblocked but insisted that I inform him if my ex ever reaches out again. That's completely fine by me. My boyfriend has access to my phone and is welcome to check it at any time. It seems like this helped a lot. It made me realize how mature my boyfriend is about the whole situation and how much I appreciate what we have. He's very different from my ex, more reserved and quiet, but sweet. He's good at communicating and chooses his words and actions carefully, which brings stability to our relationship, something I truly deserve. Despite this, I'm still a little worried about my ex considering everything I learned and how our conversation ended. However, I did my part. I'm not going to cut either of them off yet because they are both good people. There's only so much I can convey in a Reddit story, but I don't hate my ex despite how he emotionally hurt me. His mom is an amazing person too, and I think after this incident, she won't bring it up again. If my ex or his mom start reaching out inappropriately, then I'll have to take the difficult step of cutting them off. But for now, that's where things stand. It wasn't the big fairy tale ending I dreamed of, but the nice, quiet life I've built for myself remains intact. How do you like the story, my friend? Write your opinion in the comments. Let's get 1,000 subscribers on this channel together. Love you.